GI Saad checking in 2025 edition, talking about how New Year's resolutions are not something I do, and I'm going to give you guys my template, my system that I use instead to make every successive year of my life for the last 10 years better than the next. It is not by accident, it's because I have an effective, efficient set of systems, and I'm going to give you one of them in a new Notion template that I've created and I've spent many hours refining and working on recently. And that is, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I don't recommend you do them for your clients. Instead, I recommend you do past year reviews. And I'm going to walk you through what that means right now. So, here's where you should start. Instead of half blindly looking forward into these goals, we want to set better systems. But before we set that, we need to reflect and look back what's worked and what hasn't. And so, walking you through this template, which is accessible now below or above, is we want to identify the 20% of activities, experiences, and people who produce 80% of the positive emotions and outcomes, and vice versa, the negative as well. And so I take you through a step-by-step self-analysis, how to do that. Emotional identification table. You want to identify the peak, positive, and negative emotions for that month. And why do they trigger it? Because the quality of your life is actually partly determined by the quality of the emotions you experience. And that the person that goes outside when it's raining and is really sad, and the other person goes outside when it's raining and is neutral or even positive, can both be the same people depending on the day and the state of mind. We want to articulate what those emotions are. And I give you some vulnerable personal examples of myself and how I've done that over the years and how it's fundamentally changed my life and how I approach what do I pick to focus on and what do I pick to avoid. And it helps me become a lot more focused and ruthless towards prioritizing myself and the things that are most important to me and ridding the things that are no longer serving me. But a lot of people don't even know what's serving them. A lot of you don't even really know about the insidious dragons underneath the carpet that are fucking you tremendously. That's a sentence, fucking you tremendously. That sounds like a title for a porno. Stay tuned. Trinity Triple X. Moving on from my ridiculous jokes. Peak emotion events, you're going to review the top 20%, and then you're going to articulate, this is where you put your practical implementation in place. What are you going to do of more of and less of in that year? And you can use this and repeat this year on year. Then action scheduling. You're going to schedule it. I hold you accountable to scheduling it. And for those who have complete this, I want you to send me the template so I can review it and help you. Now, beyond the 80-20 analysis, there is an advanced line of questioning that only the greatest winners in this group will do. And that is what I call the advanced iOS life upgrade questioning. So the series of questioning you ask is going to help elucidate very carefully what investments you should be making, what things you should get rid of, what things you should include. And so starting off with, where are you still using single ply toilet paper? What does this mean? Basically, where are you still choosing the lowest cost options and not thinking about the downsides? A lot of you are operating, and previous versions of me has been operating on a more frugal mindset that once did serve you, that no longer serves you. I recently encountered this when I looked at myself and be like, I don't need a new phone. I have it. It's fine, the iPhone 13. Yeah, there's 3 more years of models that come out, but I noticed I was using single ply mentality in that case, like toilet paper, and realizing that this phone was really slowing me down. It was contributing to meaningfully lower levels of productivity. So that's just one example. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you guys through a value reflection of the purchases over the year that have helped you and not helped you that you might have regretted, but you're unaware of because you haven't sat down and done that reflection. And why that's important is because the tools, the things you purchase, the things you don't purchase, can dramatically influence your levels of productivity, efficiency, and stress and overwhelm. And all it could take is removing something or adding something that could dramatically influence the level of overwhelm and stress you experience. For example, I realized my $4,000 Sony camera that I'm using right now, while it had a high cost associated with it, was a very high long-term value, and I'm really glad that I spent that and my Monduo 3 laptop tri-screen setup, which was, again, expensive, but had a tremendous value. And if I didn't see that long-term planning and vision, I wouldn't have realized that. Third last one, if only I was rich questioning. What purchases of $100 to $10,000 have most positively impacted your life in the last 12 months? Expected positive impact. What did you expect it to have? And what was the actual happiness impact? The reason that you want to do this is because the expectation and actual positive impact are not always the same. And sometimes we underestimate the level of impact something can have. And so by reflecting on it, you can realize the cognitive distortions that you're falling for and realizing that, hey, I should probably actually make a greater investment in this area, given the past behaviors that I have done and what has contributed to that. And by the way, to create a copy of this, just go to the top corner when I share this with you and click duplicate in your Notion. What indulgences were worth it? What would you repeat? For example, high quality restaurants. For example, for me, cars. I don't really spend a lot on myself, guys. I know I'm looked at as like I have fucking all this money and like, I don't, actually, do you guys look at me like that? You guys obviously look at me as successful, but I spend a lot of money, spend a lot of it in the business, but I'm not fucking a millionaire yet. And so I don't really indulge in myself too much. But when I do, I like to rent a nice car, depending on the country I'm in and the city I'm in, temporarily. So that's an indulgence that's worth it for me. That's something I work really hard for, is to be able to experience that guilt and shame free. And so what's your version of that? And what would you like to repeat? Because money is meant to be spent. How to upgrade your life dramatically for less than you think. If you could take 10 to 20% of your cash that you could afford to lose, how would you use it to increase the quality of your life? And then I have a table for you here that gives you the percentage allocation of how much income you would, expected quality of life impact, and what date, when are you going to actually action it? Very important. And this gets you to think about a very small portion of your income being used to upgrade your life and have a meaningful impact. You're not supposed to hoard money. You're supposed to spend and invest money. Additionally, we have a one on joy. What contributes to joy? And what would you like to invest to improve your joy in your life? Because we're not supposed to just be slaves to our ambition and slaves to David Goggins. Or are we? Slaves to Saad. The one decision formula, achieving effortless efficiency. So the goal of this is to find hidden leverage that you're not realizing. So what's a single morning routine decision would improve and make the entire day in front of you less stressful and more productive? Unless you sit down and answer these questions and think about it, and I encourage you to actually sit amongst like a sunset or somewhere outside of nature and sit undistracted to answer these questions. The frame and setting is important here. This is not work. This is for you to set up your ideal life. This isn't fucking homework or an assignment. This is time where you get to actually focus on you. Focus on who you want to be and how you can improve your life. I'm just giving you a framework to do that. It's helped me. I'm in this position being able to educate you because I do shit like this. If you don't want to do it, that's up to you. Ma rafsh, mish mohem, but mohem, big mohem, grande mohem. I'm splitting languages here, speaking Spanish and Arabic. What automated system could replace multiple daily decisions? And I give you some examples here. Outfit selection. How much time do you to pick an outfit? Ladies, pick the capsule pieces. Come on, girls. Capsule pieces. I know about the capsule pieces. You picking 2 seasonal outfits. So you notice here, I'm in GI Saad mode, right? So I got the tank tops from Gymshark. Shout out. And I rotate that and my shirt when I'm doing these videos. I don't have to think about it. So I save decision-making fatigue. Imagine me standing in my wardrobe thinking about, what am I going to wear today? I don't know. Should I wear this? What about this? What the fuck? Moving on. Virtual assistants, auto pay systems, meal prep, the via negativa approach. Instead of adding more, focus on strategic elimination. Which recurring task commitments in your life creates the most decision fatigue? For example, swipe left, swipe right. It's a lot of decision fatigue, having to scroll through. I was going to say something negative. Not negative, a derogatory term that some of the ladies might not like in here. You can understand what I was about to say. It's a joke. Haha. Decision fatigue. What's contributing to decision fatigue? Is it the clothes picking? Is it what you're going to eat for breakfast? You should systemize and automate it. You don't, I've noticed, a lot of people spend a lot of time thinking about what the next meal is going to be. I can write you a meal plan. You can go to Fed. You can go to Imperfect Nutritionist. You can get it delivered. You don't have to think about it because when you're dying, no, it's not going to be very effective. When you're sad that you're not flying business class or you're not able to take care of those you love, it's not going to be because you wish you spent more time deciding what the fuck to wear or what training program to pick or what meal you should eat or what restaurant you should go to. It's going to be, damn, I look good right now. Shit. Sorry. Saad has some ego. What habits or commitments could you completely eliminate rather than... What habits or commitments could you completely eliminate or rather optimize? And I give you an action plan for that. For example, for me, a VA has been exceptionally helpful for that. Cooking, cleaning, delegate. Which relationships or activities drain your energy with providing proportional value? This is a tricky one for some of you. With family, you want to limit your time with some of those family members. Moving out is going to be a really big game changer. You see it as a cost, but it's actually an investment. It's a healthy pressure on you to be better, but being in that different environment helps you. Might be your relationship. That's a really hard one. It might be your relationship, and that's something you have to face really honestly. But without doing this reflection and review, then maybe you don't honestly realize. So the goal isn't to always add more, to be on top of everything. The goal is also to eliminate the unnecessary so the important can thrive. And that is what this framework gives you. And hopefully the time and energy that I've put into this can help give you a system and framework. No, I know it can give you a system and framework to better reflect on your year. I'd love if you could voice message me about what you gleaned from it, what value you got from it, and even reflect on it in the Discord for my Trinity compadres that have done this 80-20 yearly review analysis. I put this in my calendar. And just to share with you, lastly, before we finish off, 13-14 minutes in, is that first of all, how many gaps in my speech have I had? How many times have I said ums and ahs? Let me know. Hopefully, I say ahs too much. That's something I self-reflect on. Anyway, for me, I've realized that setting time and aside, undistracted, we're renting an Airbnb, and we're just time where I'm going to do this. I'm going to sit down for hours and reflect and write. And there is times to work and there's times to go inwards. Bill Gates, the CEO and owner of Microsoft, he has 1 week periods of time where he's uncontactable and he goes in a cabin in the woods. And what he does there, probably a lot of haramites. But outside of the haramites, he actually reads books and he dedicates time to self-reflection and reading, undistracted and thinking. I think he calls it Think Week, I believe. You can look it up. Think Week. Because you can imagine how much input a man like that gets, a business owner like that gets. Well, you get a lot of input, I get a lot of input. And the ideas usually come when the input drops down. So, for periods of time, make yourself uncontactable. Go MIA, go off the grid. And what will flow after that may very well be some of the greatest ideas and some of the greatest opportunities that you have not created the space for. Look forward to hearing what you create.